Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are taking a pulse check on the Cardano ecosystem. And no, we're not talking about price charts or market caps today. We're going to dive into the stuff that's actually happening on the ground. The real activity, the big strategic moves, and the cool innovations that are pushing things forward right now.
So let's get right into it. What's really the engine driving Cardano's progress, especially when the markets are, being markets? It's not just one thing. It's actually this powerful mix of high-level business strategy, real-world value for you, the user, and, honestly, some serious grit. First up, let's talk about building real-world foundations. This is all about how projects are bridging that gap between the crypto world and the, regular world. It's about getting official, getting protected, and making some pretty important connections. And a perfect example of this is Iagon, a project that's all about decentralized cloud storage. They just made a huge move to cement their place, not just as a cool tech idea, but as a serious business. So, what they do? They officially registered their trademark in the European Union. And look, this might sound like just a bunch of boring paperwork, but it's a huge deal. A trademark is like a legal shield. It protects their brand, their tech, and it gives them the solid ground they need to grow and operate across one of the biggest economic zones on the planet. It's a massive step, really, that shows a project is growing up from a concept into a business that's built to last. And it's not just them. Check this out. Nuvola Digital, another player in that decentralized cloud space, shared this quote recently. They're having meetings with national-level leaders in Italy, talking about cybersecurity and digital systems. I mean, this quote just says it all, right? We are literally watching the conversation move from Discord chats to government boardrooms. That's some serious high-level validation of this tech. Okay, so while some projects are building outwards into the real world, others are building inwards. They're creating these deeper, more rewarding ways for you to engage. Let's take a look at BankFi and how they're kind of changing the game for anyone holding assets in their ecosystem. They're about to roll out a new portfolio rating system. Here's how it works, and it's pretty slick. It's basically a score that looks at all the assets you have with them. Then, and this is a key part, it gives you a special boost, a multiplier, if you're participating in their stake pool. That final number decides what kind of rewards you get. So here's the magic. It's a direct connection. Your rating equals your rewards. The more you're involved, the more you get back. We're talking about things like giveaways, airdrops, even your role inside their Discord community. It's a really smart way to reward the people who are most committed, creating this feedback loop that makes the whole community stronger. And that's a super healthy sign for any project. And speaking of rewards, that leads us perfectly into the next thing, which is just the sheer volume of opportunities out there. Case in point, the Walkers app. It is an absolute hotbed for airdrops right now, basically rewarding you just for getting out and walking. Now get a load of this number. Walkers did the math and figured if a user does all the tasks for their planned airdrop campaigns this year, all 30 of them, they could rack up tokens worth up to 1,800 ADA. That's a lot of free tokens just for using the app and playing around with some partner projects. It's a powerful way to get people active and exploring what else is out there, which of course makes the whole ecosystem stronger. And this isn't some maybe someday thing. This is happening right now. Just look at the campaigns that are live. You can see a real mix of projects are getting involved, offering you all sorts of different tokens just for doing some simple tasks in the app. And just to give you a taste of the variety, let's look at two of them. On one side, you've got something like $BFI. That's a utility token for a poker platform. But on the other, you've got $EVNIT, which is actually making a little bit of history as the first meme coin launching on Midnight, Cardano's new privacy-focused sidechain. So you can see you get exposure to a whole range of different projects. All right, so we've seen projects building foundations and engaging users. But what happens when things don't go to plan? This is where we look at the Goofy Gophers Mining Club for a really powerful story about making tough calls and, believe it or not, finding innovation where you least expect it. So the team came out recently and announced they were stopping development on a brand new NFT project. And they were super upfront about it. They called it a very heavy decision, especially after they had already poured a ton of time and their own money into it. And this quote from the founder, Ryan, really gets to the heart of it. That phrase, sunk cost fallacy, that's when you keep throwing good money after bad just because you've already invested so much. Recognizing that and having the courage to pull the plug, that takes some serious strategic clarity. That's a mature, tough business decision. But here's where the story gets really interesting. It doesn't just end with a canceled project, because in the process of shutting one thing down, they accidentally built something new and something that might be even more valuable.
And that something is the GGMC Minter. This came right out of the ashes of that other project. And listen, this isn't just another minting tool. It's a high-end piece of tech that can handle incredibly detailed art, complex statistics, and create really fun collectible-style mints. This could actually become a whole new revenue stream for their treasury. And even better, it's a new tool that other projects could potentially use, adding more value back into the entire ecosystem. And this just sums it all up, doesn't it? It perfectly captures that resilient spirit. It's a fantastic real-world example of a team adapting, pivoting, and actually coming out stronger on the other side.
Okay, so we've looked at legal groundwork, we've looked at new ways to engage users, and we've looked at project resilience. What's the big picture here? What does all of this mean for you?
Well, what it shows us is that a really healthy ecosystem doesn't just stand on one leg. It stands on several strong pillars. You've got projects like Iagon and Nuvola laying those crucial, real-world foundations. You've got BankFi and Walkers creating direct, tangible value for users like you. And you've got teams like the Goofy Gophers showing the courage to adapt and innovate when things get tough. And the key is, all of this is happening at the same time.
And that kind of brings us to the final thought. When you see all this activity happening at once, from the boardrooms to the airdrops to these tough pivots, it becomes really clear just how dynamic this space is. So the question I'll leave you with is this. In an ecosystem that's moving this fast and in so many different directions, where are you going to focus your attention next? Thanks for tuning in.